days of long ago, created by the cosmic legends of the universe. There stands one man, one great man, a man dedicated to preserving all that is good in pop culture. Loved by few, hated by many. Alone in his fortress of awesomeness, he battles fearlessly against the wolves, the evil, the unjust. To right that which is wrong, to stand for justice, to serve all mankind. He is the one, the only, the comic relief crusader.
Hello, everyone, for a fun and entertaining Titillating Tuesday, episode 31, Enter the Geekosphere. And wow, we already got some people already here. We got Stephen Ransom in here, and on top of that, he decided to check in early. So hello, Stephen Ransom. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Good. I see we got some other people joining our chat. Lovely. Pass the word around, kids.
We do, yeah. We also got Snaggle Fricklepuss, who's lurking while I work. Hail, Snaggle Fricklepuss. And we got the illustrious Lost Wanderer. Sadly, I'll have to skedaddle in 15 minutes, but glad to be here. Awesome to have you here, dude. So, yeah, God, 31 episodes so far. I must be doing something right. So for everybody to already be in the chat. So how's your week been so far?
It's been kind of crazy. I every once in a while I get on one of these live streaming binges, and I've been quite literally in one stream or another since Thursday afternoon.
So you've been whoring yourself out on live streams.
You know what? It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of new faces around to throw support at, and a lot of new ideas coming up the pike. I was on a show last night with the Flaccid Phoenix boys doing their premature ejection stream, and it's like what we're about to do, which is kind of chewing the fat about pop culture, but they've integrated their discussion into a series of questions, and they have hosts. They have panel members come on, and they can get voted off by the audience by saying the wrong word, or they can get bought back from being kicked backstage for $10 in the chat. And they turned it into this game show. It's like Hollywood Squares YouTube style. And it's
that's cool.
It's fun. They're just working the kinks out. They're only into their 4th or 5th show now, and they're still working some kinks out. But last night a host got bought off by an audience member for $100. So there's all kinds of like fun nonsense going on, and people get bought back like several times after getting voted out. It's just a bunch of fun. Of fun.
Sweet. I like that idea. God, that is a pretty damn cool idea. And we got Disney Sheepherder, who's also just joined in. Hail, Disney Sheepherder. Great to have you here, man. So as we're just beginning the week, and roughly, I hope everybody had a fun April 1st and committed many an illustrious practical joke on a lot of people out there. But which obviously leads me into stupid news of the week, because I love this segment, and God, let's just face it, there isn't enough to spread out there for stupid news of the week. I'll tell you that much. Okay, what do we got here for stupid news of the week? We got from the Inquirer. Is the word picnic racist? how to deal with questions about language right now. God. How do we have these necessary conversations about language without sounding like the language police? Well, you can't.
This is crazy.
Oh,
Okay, I got to hear this one. I mean, seriously, let's roll
okay.
this out one step at a
Yeah,
time here, because this seems like it has some unpacking to get done.
it does because uh, I didn't bother really reading the article. I just go for the bylines, and it just seems more fun out there. But pressing into it a little bit more, on the subjects of food and picnic, well, PB&J sandwiches, are they racist? Apparently they are. So
Against who now? Peanut butter?
Peanut butter and jelly. Apparently they've been deemed racist along with picnics. And of course, by PETA. because milk is a symbol of white supremacism. So, and according to PETA, we all have to listen to PETA after all. Cow's milk has long been a symbol used by white supremacists.
Yeah, tell that to the Hindi.
Oh my God! Yeah. Hey, Janet, how's it going? I'm glad that you're here.
Hello, Janet.
Yeah. So we got milk, and we got PB&J, right? Because that's racist as well, and of course picnics. So what can I say?
Is this a Yogi Bear thing? I mean, seriously, it's
I don't know. Does that mean that that Yogi Bear supports racism and white supremacy?
As long as they keep serving me picnic baskets, I will suffer any color, I guess.
That's right. Oh, I don't think they have the right kind of food in there. I don't want to be shot by the park ranger.
Oh, Yogi. You shouldn't have picked that, bro.
that God, I can't do it.
Shouldn't have eaten that peanut butter and sandwich, Yogi. Now you're part of the problem.
So, oh God, I just can't. I can't. It's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. How can picnic possibly be racist whatsoever?
Well,
what? Only white people can go on picnics for some reason. No other race is allowed to, or something like that. Did I miss the board meeting on the latest white board hearing or something like that?
Well, so, I think we're looking at this in reverse. I mean, normally, normal human beings that plan on actually interacting to achieve a goal,
yes,
they normally have a preset answer and evidence to back it up. But the new form of questioning, proposes a concept and hopes that the audience will creatively come up with an answer. So they don't know whether or not, I mean, there's a question mark after the word racist. The article doesn't know if picnic is racist, but they're more than willing for the audience to creatively conjure up something that will make it racist. I think that's the new process.
Yeah, just like a few weeks ago that apparently coffee was supporting fascist white supremacy on top of that. Mm-hmm. So, and I guess I dare not eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, even though I do like them, because I don't want to be identified as racist. So I don't know.
This certainly explains why
escapes me.
Starbucks dropped 2 of their products because they're both, peanut butter and jelly products. One of them was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which was actually very good. And another one that came with peanut butter and jelly to smear on a few biscuits in some sort of like a lunch tray. Both of those are gone from the menu. So I guess PBJ is racist. Starbucks better be careful with all of that fascist coffee activity. God.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, it's like-
Christ.
well, then that being said, then they can't use milk anymore because how else will they make their lattes?
Yep,
So
they're gonna
because
have to shift over to these almond and soy milks. Otherwise, they're obviously supporting terrorism. I mean, it's so obvious.
oh yeah, exactly. Disney Sheepherder, yeah, the is just the word triggering. Why waste your time? These clowns have nothing else better to do. No, they don't. They just do not. Oh God. So I guess every cow on the planet is a white supremacist because they
Yep.
produce white milk. So I'm guessing I'm gonna have to switch over to either strawberry flavored milk or just chocolate milk.
Well, this is not a matter of color again, Michael. See, this is the inherent danger of being, privileged like the two of us, because
Oh yes.
we don't understand the deep pain of colorization. So just coloring your milk is not going to cover it. That would be, I think that would be milk facing, wouldn't it? If you just added
Oh,
chocolate or strawberry to it to try and
I
get
I
around the issue.
I think
This
you're
is
right.
about the abuse of cattle in modern society. That's what
It
this is
is.
really all about. This is why they
That's
don't
right.
want us to eat beef anymore, and
Yeah.
no drinking lactated products. It's all got to be generated by nuts, and I
That's
mean peanuts, almonds, not the cuckoo nuts, but the other kind of nuts.
not Betty Ford nuts. Yeah, yeah. Lost Wonder says, yeah, strawberry milk is vegan, right? I mean, like it totally comes from strawberries, right?
Yes, be careful milking your strawberries this season. They're a little tender.
Yes. Yeah, it would be. So God. I love doing this segment sometimes. I really do.
What's up,
Man.
Pops?
Pops! We got Pops. Stephen is secretly milking almonds behind our backs.
It's
Yes,
true.
he is.
Well, I am a Californian, so I have my
Yeah.
diabolical ambitions.
That's right. So, and as usual, if anybody else wants to join into the chat, the link is right up above in the chat. You may pop on in and enjoy in the mirth and merriment that is Titillating Tuesdays. Pops or Disney Sheepherder or Janet, I'm looking at you. And we got Crimson Toys also in the chat. Is chocolate milk okay? No, we just kind of covered that. Chocolate milk would not be okay because it's basically like blackface for white milk. So, yeah. Sorry, you can't do that. But
Yep.
Trudeau can, I'm guessing, because he can get away with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because he's not actually white. He's actually a replicant, right? Isn't there a whole Blade Runner community trying to figure out whether or not Canada is being run by replicants?
I think so, and the Chinese as well, because we just had this whole thing about how they interfered, had they quite possibly interfered with the whole democratic election up here in Canada. So
Yep.
yeah. So
only that election. No other
Yes.
elections were ever tampered with, ever.
No, that would be suspect.
Ridiculous conspiracy
So-
theorists.
I know, silly people. So, let's see. God, there's like tons of news to go through, and I thought I'm going to start out with this going on here today. From the Direct, Marvel Studios will be reducing its movie output. Oh my. I can't quite imagine why. So, yeah. So apparently, let's see. According to the Direct, according to a new report, Marvel Studios has set a new limit for its MCU releases in any particular year. Oh, really? Well, this should be quite interesting. After a record-breaking output throughout season 4 of the super-powered franchise, the MCU is in a bit of a soul-searching period, heading further into Phase 5 and then eventually Phase 6. Really? Interesting. Words of delays are shuffling around the MCU schedule has become more routine with a massive correction coming to the franchise. Oh my. In an effort to seemingly reduce costs and overall quality and improve overall quality. But yeah, but what does that actually mean? Fans have come to expect 7 or so MCU projects a year. But with things getting pushed and a little slower drip of content on the horizon, what will that do to the Marvel Studios calendar? Well, let's see. Could this be related? Maybe because of certain news going around of films bombing. It couldn't have anything to do with
Oh yeah,
Quantum
no,
Mania, maybe, would
no,
it?
no.
No.
Let's not try to attach fault or responsibility onto them. Okay, let's be reasonable here. They're just a
Yeah.
major international corporation.
Hmm.
Okay, they had nothing to do with the product in the first place. It was all our fault for hating on it.
Yes. It's the fans' fault.
That's right.
Like Principal Skinner had said once, So yeah, Crimson Toys, yeah, can't they fast forward to phase 1 and shut it down? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they could have. They should have, but they
I
didn't.
love this. I love this talk of, yeah, a major correction. It's like, blimey, when we decided to turn the boat into the bank, and when it crashed into the bank, we had no idea we'd have to rearrange our plans. I mean,
who
for
knew?
crying out loud, talk about self-destruction. Good grief.
God. Oh, and going back to the previous news, yeah, Janet from Another Planet says they need to only use human milk at Starbucks to help save the real woman movement.
Now, Janet's on top of this. Janet's on top of most things, but Janet's really on top of this right here.
She is, yeah. I'll give her kudos to there. I would love to see the back of Starbucks just have some sort of milking apparatus for it. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm suggesting this.
And then they could do like direct promotions. Women with natural breasts that are lactating get discounts at Starbucks, because they provide, they could bring milk over there,
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm all for that. So, for that natural flavor. So
yeah, it's something to bring us all back to our childhood,
Exactly. That's right. Disney Sheepherder. Yeah, the Fake 5 and the Phantom 6 will just lose more money. Possibly investors are finally waking up. Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, Janet, don't they have that in the UK? Ice cream, etc. Yeah, I think they do. So, and John Randall, of course. I'll do it. You can go ahead and try, John. And
Wait.
good to see you here.
John, I mean, not to gender you openly on air like this, but John is usually a guy's name. So are you willing to go to Starbucks if they start lactating milk, or are you willing to grow breasts so that you could donate to the society? I'm not clear on which one you're going for there, John.
I'm thinking he's going to go for the gusto and give it his all and try really hard. Yeah.
Ranker
And we got
Steve.
Ranker Steve. Howdy, sir. Nice to see you here tonight. Yeah, so getting back to this, because Marvel made a recent announcement that they're pretty much going to, cap it to 2 to 3 movies a year, and then possibly 2 Disney Plus shows a year on top of that, cutting their budgets dramatically. I believe on the Marvel movie front, they're going to reduce the budget to, about 150 to 175 million, and then the shows down to 50 million, and that's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So they cannot go higher than that budget. So, and if they can't do the job, then they're out of there.
Yeah. No, this is going to be a great opportunity for a lot of undereducated people to get jobs straight out of college, because, they'll be willing to take these smaller wages and do things at a lower cost without, scoffing about it at all, because, their professional experience is their future. Their professional experience is ahead of them. So if Disney wants to lowball their own products and reduce costs, that's probably the best way. Get a bunch of inefficient people to come straight out of college and then dictate to them how to get this project done at these low costs, and then just fire them if they disagree, and then make up something in the press to chastise them publicly for disagreeing with them. This poor, innocent major international corporation.
That's right. Yeah. Let's see. And Janet from Another Planet, I think he wants to make the ladies. I think so too. Yeah.
Like I said, Janet's a sharp cookie. You can't pull the wool over her eyes.
No, that's right. And also adding into the chat, we got Pop Culture Republic. Howdy, Pop.
Hello.
All right.
And Pop says, translation, a major cut in rage content for creators. I think you are correct, sir. So, yeah, because if they can't get the job done, because they're hemorrhaging money, as we all know, Disney, yeah, you got to cut corners somehow. And, there's no reason why they need to really. I mean, if they're smart about it, if any director is worth their money, then they will find a way to meet those caps and spend that money wisely. I think if they're worth their money, that's the thing. So,
well, Mike, and I don't PCR. I'm not really familiar with enough of the lore of your character to identify and know exactly like what age you're talking from. But Mike and I'd certainly remember all of that silly nonsense about debt becoming a profitable industry. I mean, just the words itself is a bit of a monkey soup, but
it is.
I think what we're actually witnessing here is the final evolution of that process of how to turn debt and loss and negative attitude into a profitable situation. And I think they figured it out. I mean, Disney certainly seems to be onto something here. They've got us advertising for them because we're so outraged. They can tell us they're cutting costs, they're firing people, and still claim to be the victim. And when we complain about it, they could turn that bullet back right at us because we're the problem. So I think they got something figured out here.
No, that's a good strategy. When all else fails, blame the fans. And then when your movie tanks, write it off.
Yeah. Well, that's going to end up making a lot of investors extremely angry, even more so.
Maybe angry that they didn't get on board sooner. I don't know. It's really hard to tell.
And we got Penny also in the chat as well. Hey,
Hello.
Penny. How's it going? You all sound down, but watching chat saw D&D today. It was fun. Oh, really?
I've been hearing that it actually is a redirect. None of the information we saw in the trailers allegedly is not in the film at all. That's my understanding, and that it's wholly a simple family film. The person I heard do a review on it that I trust immensely, Magatech Mags,
right?
She was like, "It's a wholesome family film. You bring the kids. Everybody in the audience was laughing it up. I mean, families were having a good time. So if you're looking for something to do on Easter weekend, kids are out of school. This might be a really good choice. Supposedly, it's a solid." Not asking too much of the audience, kind of, family film, popcorn, 100% popcorn.
And Janet says she loved it too.
There you go.
Nice.
Well, that's good.
There you go. And hail Admiral Teague. Nice to see you here there, bud.
Hello, Admiral.
Hello.
Awesome. And like mentioned before, the link is up top if anybody wants to join in on the mirth and merriment. To partake in this Titillating Tuesday. So Marvel's new movie limit. So here we go. So a new report revealed that Marvel Studios seemingly mandated a new limit of content it can release on a yearly basis. Yeah, so as I was mentioning before. Speaking on the Hot Mic podcast, Above the Lines, Jeff Snyder revealed that he has heard Marvel's target output has been reduced. This means that instead of around 4 shows and 4 movies a year, fan can expect 2 shows and 3 movies a year. Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Okay.
So it says, yeah, Marvel's target output has been reduced. I don't know if this has been reported or if it was a line in the trades or whatever, but I'm told that the target output has been reduced from 4 movies a year to 2 shows, 3 movies a year. And of course, that's malleable. You could get one on either side of that or whatever. So, and Disney Sheepherder, welcome to the chat, my good sir.
Howdy, everyone.
Hello.
Howdy, howdy.
I guess I'll let you see what I look like.
Well, right now there we go. Because I was about to say you look like an amorphous orange blob for a second there. So,
well, I got that little safety camera sticker that came with the computer.
And just a little side note for all you independent film creators out there, that's how you can get an orange glow on camera. Just put a sticker of white paper over the lens, and you suddenly get this ethereal glowing thing that talks.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's like just stick it on there.
Special effects by Disney Sheepherder, folks.
That's right.
So. Oh, and he did it on a budget too. There we go.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
Marvel's newest director.
There we go.
Using Post-it notes for special effects creation.
You'll get that $150 million contract soon. So
should it really be said that they're going to reduce when actually this was their production at the beginning of the Marvel franchise? So shouldn't they really be referring to it as retrograding their schedule?
I would think so. Because, they're probably just going to, how should I put it? Talk away how it's, we feel that people are probably getting superhero fatigue and, we just kind of want to lighten up on that. Maybe that's what I'm thinking, how they're going to justify it when it's essentially trying to recoup losses because, well, they've done so crappy.
Yep.
So, it's like, well, okay.
Fatigue. Yeah, superhero fatigue is the new buzz phrase that's going around.
Yeah, exactly right. So, and we got onto the show.
Speaking of
Everybody's
fatigue,
Admiral Teague.
Hello.
Good day, sir.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
What's up, guys? And my pal Disney Sheepherder.
How are you, sir?
Doing well.
Very good. Yeah,
Nice,
we're just
nice,
going
nice.
over the other side of the fence. There's a mountain and a giant mouse that we're dealing with these days. Admiral Teague is handling the mountain, and we're covering the mouse.
Would mountain be the Paramount logo? Yes,
Yeah.
I am. I will climb there. I will leave no mountain unclimbed. Like even if the journey should be like Kirk's in Star Trek V. I mean, up the Matterhorn, right? I mean, maybe I'm the Don Quixote of Star Trek, but I mean, now you've triggered me. Comic Relief Crusader, please forgive me. I detest my sins. It's been 1 week since my last confession of how much I fucking hate that robot. I fucking hate the robot. All right, I fucking hate it.
Don't hold back.
Yeah.
Let us know what you really feel.
There, my son. You are admonished of all sins.
I will say this. I am Rodak. This man.
Are you really?
Consider my existence.
Inevitable.
Yes.
It's like, every male hero in Marvel has to have their ass shown. Mine was shown too.
Yep.
This is the perfect
Greatest ass in the multiverse.
the perfect avatar for that. But you know what? I'll try to show some class. I can show you many faces. How do you like this one?
Oh, protect the children.
But by the way,
eyes!
why did JJ dress this way? I realized that this was popular in about 2014, but like he looks like some sort of like youth minister with like a priest outfit on. It's very odd, right? It's like it's a mystery. My grandfather Kelvin, he ran a magic store in New York City, and I used to go there with tell my grandmother I would do drugs if they wouldn't give me their camera, and I'd take it with me on the streets. And then when I went to Sarah Lawrence University and I was part of the first class to graduate males, I had gotten a lot of puss in my time there, and I had learned that the real thing to do is lay down and for reverse cowgirl and just let them say whatever they want.
That's a very good rendition. I'm quite impressed.
That's you know what? It's you have to press the gas on your verbal delivery to do JJ because he's always got about 5 Red Bulls in him, unless the movie's a failure, in which case he's devoid of all energy. And by the way, has anyone noticed the JJ trend of commentaries? If the movie makes money and it's a success, there's a director's commentary where he sucks his own dick. But if it's failure, there's no commentary. Like Force Awakens, there's like, and this is where I have Rey and Han bonding, and I just work so beautifully here, because of my crafting. And then like Rise of Skywalker, like there's just like nothing. It's like the effects guy. It's like, okay, here we wanted the effect of a million, because they don't have to answer any questions, right? They're like, all right, so the boss said we want these Star Destroyers to come popping through the ground, so this is what we did. But like, you got a bit rate analysis on that one.
Well, that being said, Crimson Toy says, I heard Sulu's going to start in the next Star Trek. The plot is that he tried to lure an ensign during the night shift.
Oh, no.
Yep.
I always have to say this when George Takei comes up. You ready? And I believe he wants to be known as George Takei, right? When he says it, he says Takei. All right, so George Takei, the Batman 1943 isn't a very good movie, but he must have enjoyed it even less in jail. It's fucked up, right? I mean, George Takei, we've got to give him his he's one guy. I'll let him be weird, just like Shatner. It's a shame they hate each other.
Yeah,
but he's he's got his excuse to be weird. Everybody makes a few mistakes. You want to win World War II, you got to break a few eggs. It was wrong.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
we've apologized. We gave people money. We said we were sorry. There's not much we do. It was like kind of important to win that particular war, unless anyone wants to dispute it. I don't know. Man in the High Castle was good as a TV show.
That is also true.
Yeah, I think that the JJ costume is it's kind of the Steve Jobs, which is a ripoff of the beatnik of the 50s and 60s. So, yeah, it's a triple ripoff, isn't it?
And he's trying to look like a lazy artist, but he's still like really Hollywood and inside. It's like $100 T-shirt with like a $900 sweater, and he's like, I'll look like, and it's contrived, like you said. It's like I'll wear a crew neck T-shirt with a V-neck sweater. It'll be kind of cool. I'll throw people off with my manic energy. You give me another Red Bull.
Yep. I'm such a bohemian that I have at least 10 more rooms that are empty in my house than I have occupied ones.
Yeah.
Well, those rooms would be considered boxes, right? And inside of them, since you don't know, having not been in there, you have a J.J. Abrams approved mystery box dwelling.
Mystery box mansion. There we go.
That explains it all.
That sounds like a good survival series. Wouldn't that be a great reality TV show? Mystery box mansion.
I want to make the unwoke mystery box show. Think about it. Inside every vagina is a mystery box. Like that's your opening line.
Wow.
Inside every vagina lies a mystery box.
It's like
Captain
Schrödinger's cat.
I think we've gone so far off the rails. Should we reorient or shall I approve navigation?
Yeah. So the article goes on saying, while the slowing down of the Marvel Studios machine has been the subject of much conversation as late, oh gee, I can't imagine why. This does mark the first time an actual numbers has been put on this new content strategy will look like. So apparently Feige spoke, remarking that they are aiming to have each and every Marvel project, MCU project, hit the zeitgeist and give everything a chance to shine. something that could be better achieved with a more conservative release schedule. So
could this be interpreted as getting your safest, most profitable movies out there so that you can sell this shit?
quite possibly, yeah, because apparently he says, I do think one of the powerful aspects of being at Marvel Studios is having these films and the show hit their zeitgeist. It's harder to hit the zeitgeist when there's so much product out there and so much content, as they say, which is a word that I hate.
Content is a really terrible word, but I mean, think about the people at Sony laughing. It's like they wanted Spider-Man. Those fucking douchebags. We're never gonna let them have it.
Yeah.
And
probably
thank
a good
God,
thing.
you know. Well, you know what? It's good that the superhero from my specific neighborhood is actually the most sought after, coolest, and sort of like the New York Yankees of superheroes as far as revenue generation.
True, yeah, because I mean, now, with Ant-Man already out of the way, they got Guardians of the Galaxy and the Marvels that's been delayed again.
Did they
Done
finally
with
go ahead
Blade.
and they agreed to delay it?
Oh yeah, because it was supposed to come out around the summertime.
Yep.
So now when is it coming out? Thanksgiving?
Well, according to the schedule here, November 3rd of this year.
Close enough to think. All right, so really almost at a strange-ish time, right?
Yep.
Because a good movie that time of year will drop in time for Thanksgiving, or if the movie is particularly good, you will take the audacity of dropping it on Christmas, which is a big movie day.
Yeah,
A lot of people go to the movies on Christmas.
If I was if I was a betting person, I'd almost bet that Blade would be delayed again, because nothing is going right on that from what I've read.
Yeah, so let's take a look here because aside from the Marvels, which they're banking on hopefully does something good around Thanksgiving, which it won't. So okay, so then we have Captain America New World Order. Boy, that isn't suggestive, is it now?
I mean, and like really the deepest origin of that term comes from mid-20th century Germany.
Yeah.
Let's not forget where that word came from. That's a pretty bad set of words.
Yeah.
George W. Bush, not our George H. Bush, not our best spoken president.
No.
Word saladed his way through 4 not totally inept years. I mean, what's the best thing we can say about him? Like, he won his war.
Yeah, because we got our Falcon captain, we got our discount captain. As what? He's going to be probably the agent. Then we got Bucky on top of that.
The thing is, I feel he was deeply misrepresented. When Bucky is killed, how many Hydra agents does Cap take out with no repercussions? But these scumbag terrorists, and in Falcon and Winter Soldier, we saw some of the evilest terrorists we ever saw in the entire MCU. How many people does Carly once set on fire in that finale episode where Falcon's like, I see the good in you? I'm like, what the fuck, Falcon? You're an asshole. Obviously, you don't have the vision of a Falcon.
No, so probably not.
No.
Are we supposed to call him Captain Falcon, or Falcon Captain? What are we supposed to call him?
Black America.
Captain Falcon America.
Not my captain.
I mean, what was so wrong with, honestly, like, if we want a black superhero, okay, we lost Chadwick Boseman. We have a chance to reload with Blade. Let's hand wave away his appearance and use like Michael B. Jordan as fucking Blade and let him be really fucking powerful, or someone like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? For the old teacher role, bringing back Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, Crimson Toys. A hit movie would be a story of Oprah as the agent for women in film, the amazing middle woman. Yeah. I want a new Howard the Duck movie, R-rated. And, of course, we call Captain America Captain Pigeon.
I'm still confused by the events of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I would say that if you wanted to see, like, Miss Andry, is that the right term? And, just the height of the ineffectual man trope, when Falcon is telling Carly, the redheaded stepchild, that she should stop setting people who are innocent on fire because he sees the good. He sees the good in her.
Yeah.
He won't make the final move as she's ready to blow up a building full of people or something equally malevolent. And all of a sudden, we hear a couple of coughs from behind her, and Agent Carter sort of lifts herself up on one hand and caps Carly like 5 times. And like instead of his friend who saves his life, Sam runs over to Carly. No! And I'm like, you know, this bitch is the most evil person you've ever created by mistake because you didn't coordinate your writing, and these are simple mistakes. If she'd be like, this moral grayness can't work for someone like Carly who wanted to set like 11 people on fire. It was like an extended band full of people, set them on fire. Mm-hmm. There was no ambiguity. You've got to do better, Senator. It's like, is this wish fulfillment?
Hi, lovely Sherry. Glad to have you here.
Hey, she's from Queens. She's from Queens.
Yeah, she's from Queens, aren't you?
Nice
to have you on board tonight. Yeah, I mean that oh god, that show was just complete crap.
I have not seen one episode of it.
No, it was really almost honestly because that one was so stupid. It had some moments of glory, like for instance, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son is really all right, and the way they do him dirty has you rooting for him, and you get enjoyment in an ironic way out of that one. I found that I ironically enjoyed it, not how they intended me to.
And then we got Thunderbolts on July 26, 2024.
What do we make of this? It's different Thunderbolts, right? These are not. We're not going to see.
Yeah, I'm not exactly thrilled about this. Oh, lovely Sherry. Yeah, okay. She's from. Yeah, I'm from Queens.
Nice.
Yeah,
there we go.
Which there's a few million people here. We're not putting her at risk of being doxxed. It's not like being from
exactly right.
North Carolina.
You know, this Thunderbolts property really makes sense now because, you know, Disney Marvel is in the business of resurrecting dead characters. So that's why they had to kill him off. They had to kill the leader of the Thunderbolts off, you know, in the council chamber, you know, by spaghettification.
But but we're getting a different actor, right?
Well, of course, because you know multiverse and multiverse steps around contracts like nobody's business.
And time travel.
Yep.
No need for that anymore. We can just put that complicated literary device away to keep the people dumber.
Yep.
Blade.
There are two things I cannot stand in media these days. When I turn on the captions and it says scoffs, that is an emotion that I'm supposed to be able to read on the actors, and if they can't deliver it, you should not have that on screen. You know,
that's right.
You know, sad music playing. Okay, I get it, whatever. But I mean, scoffs. It's like, how stupid do you think blind people are? They can't read Uncle Owen's expression when he scoffs at Reva. And by the way, scoffs gets used no less than 3 times. If you had a scoffs drinking game for the captions, Star Trek, MCU, and what do you call it? Star Wars, you would have you would be in treatment.
You know, we really need to bring back the snort. You know, all this scoffing is just really getting me annoyed. I think we need some snorts, you know, and some guffaws.
Gesticulates Italianly.
Yeah,
there we go.
Wouldn't that be great to see that in captions? He's Italian, you know, forgive him, you know, because he's waving his arms around.
You know, you're being a little fugazi here.
But Blade. What is up with the writing that's going on here? How many times is this guy going to complain about a script? You know, what's in his contract that he has this kind of authority over whether or not the script gets produced?
How many times could he hire Jonathan Kasdan?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm looking forward to Blade though.
I don't think I'm looking forward to Blade. I mean, from what I've read of it, I like the actor. So I think he might have a point when he was describing the script about being dull, drawn out, and a very lame action sequence.
But that means he's just been set up to be punted out of the Disney Stadium and have someone more compliant come in. Like, good for him, and we should support him in the future as Disney continues to spitefully sabotage his career going forward. But
Yeah.
and we can only hope he does better than Ahmad Best, who had to take decades for redemption.
Or
John
watching in a
Rendell.
bad movie as it goes down in flames and takes him with it. I mean, there's no good situation for that actor.
That's
And
how I
John
feel
Rendell
about
says-
That's how I feel like about the human being inside the person being used as this new Little Mermaid. I feel there's no way out. I would be so dreading this. Like, she must feel great about this coming from
Oh
here.
my God. Can
Yeah.
you imagine the phone calls between her and her casting agent? She's like, I knew this was going to be difficult, but I didn't realize it was going to be this. I mean, she's still going on Twitter, right? She's seeing all the stuff we're posting about her face and, her look and everything like that.
I got nothing against her. She just took money to do something that is
Yeah,
bad.
and they probably sold her a bill of goods that isn't really paying off. And God only knows, I sympathize with some of these young these young ingenues that are basically tanking their careers.
Yeah.
Brie Larson looked no farther, right? I mean,
exactly.
She may have only taken bad advice. We just don't know about the real person because we've only seen her in roles, and like the same year she makes us sick in Captain America. That Skull Island movie almost works.
Yep,
it kind of does work for me.
Yeah. Deadpool movie, November 8th, 2024.
Yeah.
That'll be good. I'm hoping.
It's got a snowball's chance. It's got a snowball of a chance to be good.
Yep. And then we got Fantastic Four, November 14th, 2025.
Okay,
I'm
that's
sorry.
by Matt Shackman, the genius who bought you WandaVision. So I think we should all just relax here. It's going to be fine. And that is because he's taken off Star Trek 14.
Really?
Yes, Star Trek 14, December 23rd, 2023 may no longer be the release date for that, with no filming having been done, and Chris Pine calling it cursed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not looking forward to Fantastic Four.
I'm not looking forward to it either.
Handled with the subtlety of WandaVision. When you come out of it, they'll never know how much you sacrificed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It still astonishes me how such a straightforward property. I mean, Jack Kirby produced this thing through Marvel Comics, and the format of what makes Fantastic Four special is such an easy equation to execute.
Yep.
And I don't understand. You made Galactus a cloud, and then you gave us this abhorrent extra-dimensional origin for Doc Doom.
Oh, no.
What the hell?
Despite all that, if you went in there knowing nothing about Fantastic Four the way I did, when it's just like a dearth of comic book movies, a plentitude and an embarrassment of riches, that movie, despite all the things they did wrong, that first one almost works. It's got moments of fun in it.
It does.
It's got and that guy reminds me of Captain America a little bit. He's got a certain quality about him, but and they're going to do that crossover just to do that crossover in the multiverse. We know we're going to see Chris Evans again as his Fantastic Four counterpart, facing off with Captain America. He's just going to come out of their multiverse, and that'll be what he is from another multiverse, and they'll train him to be Captain America too. I mean, who knows?
Crimson Toys, Michael Jai White as Blade.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're in an age where casting is going to make a hill of beans.
Why don't we race
so much
swap?
production back push?
They haven't race and gender swap Blade.
No. Well, there are earmarks in some of the rumors we've been hearing that he will be replaced by a young lady.
I think she'll be Latino.
Well, there's a daughter in the script.
Replaced by her daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
That, you know what? She's only going to be smarter and better than she is. I'm going to say let's go for it.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like a winning idea right there. I say they should go for it.
Yep.
Avengers, Kang Destiny.
I now predict that the major script changes or something. And if they've shot one frame or two, burn it, start over. This Kang guy ain't working out. Like stage 6, let's do it. Where no one's gone before. Let's go stage 6.
Yeah.
Stage 5, Ant-Man and the Wasp to start it off. Quantum Mania. That was record setting in a bad way.
Yeah.
Yep.
It in more ways than one. Then we got a bunch of untitled Marvel movies. Yeah, I think these are just probably placesetters at this point. And then
Those are the
Avengers
real
Secret
release
Wars.
dates. Those are the real release dates for the other projects.
Yeah,
Right.
the actual products.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Avengers Secret Wars. You know what? I'm not even looking forward to Secret Wars.
I'm not either.
I'm not.
I don't want to. I'm not going to countervene the title by watching it. If I watch it, it'll become a public war.
Yeah, pretty
We
much.
can't have that.
No, that would be silly. Come on.
Yeah, it's so funny. We got all this pushback against conspiracy theorists, going back like 3-4 years now. And meanwhile, we've got, Captain America, New World Order. We've got, Avengers, Attack of the Lizard People. I mean, for real? I mean, seriously. I mean, you think about what they're producing here and our actual anxieties about what might actually be going on in the real world. It's just disheartening. I don't get it. It's like they rub it in our face and then they chastise us for noticing. I don't get it.
See, you know what? Make Secret Wars like a Disney Plus thing, right?
Isn't it? I think it is.
Come on, Fantastic Four. Well, yeah, hopefully it is. I mean, that's what I've been hearing that it's supposed to be.
Let me Google it for you.
And because Fantastic Four, the biggest thing you could possibly introduce in any of these movies is Galactus. No ifs, ands, or buts, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
there is the Fantastic Four Kang connection that they're going to probably try and work in. Reed Richards is great grandson or some nonsense.
Oh God, yeah, it'll be something like that. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, if they
one
don't
of
take
these
the time to do it.
untitled Marvel movies might be Eternals 2, because I've been hearing that in the pipe works as well.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Why not?
The least profitable movie needs a
It's
sequel.
got to be out of their minds. I mean, how
Yeah,
do you
I know.
rescue that? What marquee talent takes a hit to drag them to like mediocrity?
Yeah, kicking and screaming, no less.
Yeah, because you gotta put Pip the Troll in there somewheres and Adam Warlock.
And you got to bring in more Kirby art. Oh wait.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly right.
Oh God, it debuts on my birthday this year. Happy birthday. For my birthday, I'm getting a Secret Invasion by the least effective person to ever lead any organization of fictional origin. He ran the Jedi into the ground. I mean, absolutely ran S.H.I.E.L.D. into the ground under his leadership. They went from flying aircraft carriers to this, to a TV show, to a special. I mean, they had flying fucking aircraft carriers at the beginning. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson. I sense a cloud of the dark side around Palpatine. Something confuses me about young Anakin. Let's put them together.
Yeah.
Did some of the logic we've gotten from Samuel L. Jackson, and now he's going to be our general in this secret war. I got something to tell you. It's not a secret. We're probably going to lose. I can't get an episode count on this, but they are saying. So which means to me that they can't know. They know when it starts. So they have the option to say drop 3 on us at once and say that there's 11, or like, you know what I mean? Like they could still play games with this. Maybe there'll be 12, maybe there'll be 8. It's hard to say. 6 is the best to hope for because it'll be the least amount of self-extermination by the franchise and
Mm-hmm.
character assassination.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
My only hope. God, I want to see Blade, but then again, I'm used to Wesley Snipes being Blade. That was badass. That was badass.
Gave us 3 good Blade movies.
And now that he's done time in jail, I think he has a more sellable position as like sort of menacing. I mean, he's definitely been in some menacing situations.
Yeah, I don't think he's up for the challenge, but
you know what? Trick photography is a thing. Let's, if not Wesley Snipes, certainly Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just forget about the fact that he was, erased part of Wakandan history.
The only things I see here that I'm only interested in is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Possibly Blade, Deadpool, depending on how the casting goes for Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
pretty much
probably
it.
I'm probably interested in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Deadpool, only because I'm curious how they'll handle mutants in Deadpool, if they'll bring in any mutants or try to introduce the X-Men and see how they completely butcher it. But none of these really inspire me or make me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
I have the most confidence looking at this, an untitled Marvel movie, February 13th, 2026. That looks like a winner to me. I mean, let me tell you something. The enthusiasm building in me right now, living as a Northeast American, thinking about the night before Valentine's Day, I get this Marvel movie. Thank you. Thank you, Jessica Gao. Thank you, Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what more can I ask for here? I mean, I think that one makes me the most excited. The rest of these, I can't. What does it say that I can't say which is most likely to fail, which is most likely to succeed?
The one I have the least faith in, Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I know whatever's in the comic books, they will do a complete 180-degree opposite of.
My hot
they will
take is
completely ignore source material, like they always have been.
I think they did such a bad job last time, and it still almost worked. That while you're probably right, this one is the most likely to still work in spite of itself because it's such a strong property. Like there's something about the dynamic. We love all of them. We love every member of the Fantastic Four, and there's the potential that they botch 3 of them and get one of them so right that we just love them through the movie. I mean, it's just this is a good. It's going to take work to fuck up Fantastic Four. Captain America seems the most doomed.
I believe if they put their minds to it, they can completely screw up Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking something like Riri Richards, perhaps.
Oh God.
And Sam Storm with Joan Storm being the Human Torch. You know, you see where I'm going with this? I mean, if they flip all the genders, that's all it would take. That's all it would take.
When do we get to the phase in Marvel when we go to the good stories they fast forwarded through to get to this garbage?
I'm thinking about 2040.
Yeah.
I'll be like 200 years old.
Probably.
I guess I should take this moment to issue a challenge to all other Highlanders out there to meet me on top of the Silver Cup Studios building tonight at midnight Eastern Standard Time, where I will fight you for the prize. There can be only one.
Yeah.
The Gathering.
Oh, you know what? God. There's a franchise that, if done right, with a little bit of vision, with one guy, like bring back someone who's had some success, like dare I say, even Raleigh Emmerich.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah. You know, I think that we are actually underestimating the value of vision. I could tell one property that could have used a little tiny bit of vision for it to all work out, and that would have been Multiverse of Madness. If they had put a little bit of vision into that, see what I did there? Playing with the
Now, clarify, please?
Well, I mean, I was actually just playing on the words just to juxtapose because it was fun, because I decided to have some fun with it. But
you did well.
This notion that they just didn't include Vision after making him such a potent part of the end of the series, WandaVision, I just don't get it. It's like you're going to hijack this Doctor Strange movie with your multiverse of, Wanda, and you're not going to bring in the only thing that tamed her. I mean, for real, you're not going to bring that character in even as an element to destroy.
Does Vision constitute a vibrator?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
sure.
Vision knows how to hum.
And with that being said, we've hit the 1 hour mark, so we're going to be taking a short commercial break brought to you by Omega Mart. That's right, Omega Mart for all your special needs.
Uh-oh.
Attention shoppers. This week at Omega Mart, save on name brand sodas like root beer flavored vape juice flavored root beer. Plus, stock up on emergency clams, just 79 cents a can. And on your way out, try your luck at our new arcade machine.
Omega Mart, you have no idea what's in store for you.
I think Willie and Mac would love that.
That's right.
I think I know that place. It's right next to Spatula City.
Yeah, I think so. So.
Oh my God, that butter bit with the friggin' claw, that's priceless, man. Absolutely priceless.
I thought everybody might enjoy that. So.
Until I saw the butter, I thought it was a real commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the wholesome generic root beer across the bottle. It's
exactly. It was nice, wasn't it? So
the laws with commercials are a little weird, right? Like, for instance, you can play the next week's coming attractions for a Star Trek show, but and those are like sometimes a minute long. But you can't play like a minute long sequence of the show. You'll be in trouble right away.
Exactly. Right.
What the?
So got to reduce it down to short bits.
But you can play the coming next week. I've seen people do it, and they never get in trouble.
Nice Crimson Toys. Well then, yeah.
The question is, what was stolen from Daystrom Station, and is James T. Kirk part of New Jack's DNA? Because no one ever said.
Oh my goodness! Here we go. Let's bring it out. Come on, let's roll it out, T. Come on, Admiral.
All right, I'm going to say it. All right, I'm going to say it. You ready? I'm going to say this. No one ever said that that Beverly Crusher wasn't descended from James T. Kirk, and that's where I think the DNA from Daystrom Station was harvested from, not from Picard.
Yeah. Star Trek is going to rebirth Captain Kirk in a new incarnation, and it's going to be all theirs because it's not Kirk.
It's a Kirk-Picard hybrid. They're giving us everything we ever wanted. We can't complain, can we?
Holy orgasm, Batman.
It's Picard.
To boldly go where no one wants to go.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So he's got an English accent. He's part French, but he's part Kirk.
That's right.
JJ Kirk, like Kurtzman
he'll be
Kirk.
JJ Kirk spouting Shakespearean sonnets and talking like this all the time.
Yes, join this newly birthed mama's boy.
Yeah.
On a mind-bending adventure into space.
Now, mind you, I have to watch the last episode yet again because I have to face the new forays and I have to refresh my memory of all the things they want us to forget because the catch-up is like propaganda and lies.
Yeah, it's How many episodes are left on that?
Oh God, thank God,
Too
only
many?
3. There's 3.
Boy.
Yeah.
I'm hoping one of them's really short, right? Can we get like a 22-minute one? Wouldn't that be a mercy for us who have to watch it, Michael?
I think
Well,
so.
given the proclivity towards recapping.
Oh God, yeah, that's right.
Quite honestly, their 2-minute catch-up was fairly comprehensive.
Yeah, but you'll have that one episode where everything has to be put together so carefully so you can follow it because everybody has the attention span of a goldfish.
That's right. The pillow moment.
Yeah, exactly. I can't believe you didn't see this coming.
Okay, we're
blah blah connected to blah 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 and Kirk's body, but also a Genesis 2 project on the side with Data's mind being like frazzled with like 5 different personalities connected with Jack's DNA and Picard's DNA. It forms some wacky hybrid coupled with like
it's playing
changelings. DNA and oh geez, God.
What did you think of the personality roulette where it was just cycling through one personality after another? I was waiting for it to be lol.
It's
at
yeah,
at what point do they give Jack a superhero costume? Because he's already demonstrated superpowers.
Yeah.
Because he's James T. Kirk and Jean-Luc
Yeah.
Picard combined into one.
Yeah, Crimson Toys. See, yeah, Kirk and the rest of the crew. Are
Listen,
chicks.
that by the way is
Exactly.
a threat from the guys
Yeah.
on the Popcast. Okay, the Popcast says that that's what's going to happen.
Literally,
So,
no inventions. Just
I have to watch the new Trek propaganda in the line of work I've chosen, which is to just be the Picard expert, and I regret that choice.
yeah, yeah.
But I will see this through. I'm almost done. I'm only about 15 watches of Picard away from being finished with this. But Michael, would you say Nemesis is now the most important movie?
Oh God, yeah, for sure.
And I just the idea of having to watch that again, like we might have to do that as a watch party together for mutual support because it's so painful. Like we'll have our own Cosme and like we'll do it on like one of our channels and it'll just like be us together, like just coping with watching Nemesis. It's like, oh, this part is so fucking dumb. Here comes the
Kumbaya, my lord.
Well, watch it for Tom. Tom Hardy deserves our love. I mean, he's a bit of a B-list player at this point, right? I mean, taking up the helm of Venom, which, with all the negative criticism towards Venom, I thought it was a pretty solid project, well executed. It gave us the Venom we saw on Pages, at least, for crying out loud. He was a gigantic black monster that was always hungry. So, at least we got that.
It didn't have the Venom origin, but...
Did he have
Nemesis?
Was he a lethal protector still, or was he just nuts Venom? Because there's two ways to do Venom, right?
Well, he was tongue in cheek with bro buddy with Tom Hardy. It was basically the Tom Hardy show as Venom, which is fine with me. It was fun in hijinks, but we got the action we deserved at least.
That's true. I'll give it that much.
Eddie, I need more brains.
Perhaps if they crossed it over with like the Jared Leto one, it would have been more successful, right?
Oh, good grief. That movie. You know what? That movie was so bad that content creators couldn't even make a career out of chastising it for being bad. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. Morbius. Oh, God.
Yeah, Morbidus.
That was just so
Still
bad.
haven't seen that.
Oh, you don't want to. The only
think I will.
redeeming quality about that movie is Matt Smith. Period. That's it.
Oh.
That's it. Right? The only reason I watched it was just to see how over the top possibly Matt Smith would go. And he went there and it was good. Other than that, everything else was a snore fest. Like,
I could believe that.
I'm glad that nobody
Matt
else
Smith
brings
going
up
over the top.
Morbius. Yeah. Oh, it was just so bad.
Did we ever think we'd get to the point where we're down to like, and I don't mean to denigrate him, but like down to the level of a Morbius having his own like movie, It's like,
hey, it all would have worked out. It all would have worked out if it was a good property and it had a solid backing and we understood. I mean, imagine this thing was probably scheduled like 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they've been tinkering around with it. Meanwhile, the whole Marvel franchise and framework is trembling under its own weight. And imagine the hesitation in the executive crew, the writing crew, the creative crew. I mean, everybody's just like, is this really even going to happen? Maybe I should start sending out my friggin' resume. I mean, with that kind of hesitation in the works, there's no reason why any of this stuff could have been good.
And because Vulture makes an appearance at the end of Morbius too, right?
Yeah,
some sort of little plan was hatching. It's like, what's happening with this now?
Yeah.
I had honestly forgotten that movie existed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. Case in point.
So, I remember seeing the trailers to it. I remember seeing some stuff about it, and then it's just poof, went away.
Which brings it into the next story. Speaking of Spidey, Sony Pictures promotes child mutilation in latest trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse with Protect Trans Kids flag.
There's a hot title.
There's the hot title right there. Yeah. So Sony Pictures Entertainment, latest trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse promoted gender-affirming child mutilation with Protect Trans Kids flag prominently displayed. Yeah, so in the trailer, at the 2-minute 3-second mark of the trailer, Gwen Stacy's Spider-Gwen appears to be sitting in her room, contemplating losing her friend Miles Morales, the other Spider-Man. In her room, above her door is a transgender flag that reads, Protect Trans Kids. Now, I'll get dinged if I play the trailer, so I'm going to try.
You can do sound only, so if you can pull that off.
I can do sound off.
Up to no. If you do it with sound,
do.
Oh, okay. You have a plan. I thought you were asking me to extrapolate. I usually kill the video and let the sound go for about 10 seconds at a time.
And Mike, Pops needs a link. If you could resubmit.
Oh, I will. Let's see here.
I'm really curious about this this trend of introducing high frequency
showing at all.
Ta-da. These high frequency colors of lavender and that kind of that high frequency light blue. Have you noticed that it's like a huge trend? This lavender is being introduced all over the place, and it's actually a much higher frequency of light. There it is in the title right there. I don't get what they're trying to do with that. It's not a very positive look. And just a little bit of historical trivia. The nobility of Rome were referred to as purples. It's where we get the term blue blood from. So why are they promoting this color if it meant the oppression of leadership? I mean, I just don't. Do they really realize the metaphors that they're tinkering around with here? I just don't understand.
I don't think they do.
It's weird. It's very strange. You followed me though, right?
If you were to try to enter their studio with a copy of The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell, you would be truncheoned down by several guards.
Well, you know, he was a man. You know, Joseph Campbell was a man. He was a white man as well. So, and he wore glasses. So, you know, no points for wearing glasses these days. But yeah, they would trash all over it just for the simplest reasons, not because.
Yeah,
it's like we're trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to bring things into a, you know, I don't know, whatever.
So here we go. Here's the trailer. So I'll turn off the sound here. And of course, you know, you got a bunch of multiple Spider-Man.
A lot.
So
the more you pause, the safer you are.
So, you know, of course, we got our brand new Spidey that we got to focus on, Miles Morales. Now, you know what? I'm going to tell you one thing. I don't mind Miles Morales, and we got Pops on top of that. Hey, Pops.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Howdy,
Is the
howdy.
sound okay? Because I was doing video work, so I mean, I bumped everything, so I don't know if everything's okay.
No, you're sounding good, dude. Not a problem.
All right, Spiderverse
awesome
again. Thanks, guys. It's great to see everybody. That's awesome to fit you in here. I'm always trying to juggle stuff, and it's great. I've been on your show for a minute, so I thought I would pop in and see how you guys were doing. And we're going to talk Miles Morales.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Steven is absolutely right about the color palettes, though, because the comic books are. Because comic books are obsessed. I call it like the Berkeley Art School. I don't know what the appropriate term should be, but it's like this use of pink, purples, and magentas. And then you're right about the blues, Steven, because it's just like it's pastels. Yeah, it consumes almost all of these crappy comic books.
Yeah, and I don't know if they understand what they're tinkering with. I mean, color psychology is a real thing, and it does affect the reader while witnessing these colors, the viewer while witnessing these colors. So I don't know if they understand what they're screwing around with. We don't normally comprehend those frequencies of light. Those are new colors for us. Those higher frequencies, those high purples, we don't normally see in those colors. And history has shown that, you know, we had trouble with seeing blue as an actual color. It was relative to all the other colors back in Greek literature, you know, 2,000 to 3,000 years ago or whatever. So I don't know what they're trying to introduce here. It's weird. It's like my brain is going nuts with all of these things they're playing around with.
You're thinking too much into it, Steven. They just think it's pretty.
I know.
They just think it's pretty. Okay.
Yeah.
So of course we got, our Miles Morales just swinging away, and
I hate his effeminate body style, by the way. I hate his effeminate body style.
Oh, and then we got this guy as well. Now, I remember seeing him in Spectacular Spider-Man 100. And I'm trying to remember what his name was. It was either the Spot or
Dalmatian?
Something. I don't know, but he was able to create like these little portals and took on Spider-Man. This is like way back, I think it was like early 90s or something like that, this bad guy, but I've never really seen him again. And it's kind of interesting to see this guy. I don't want to say live action, but actually in the Spidey movie.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of faith in Sony. That they are still a Japanese company. They still play by Japanese rules, and I didn't have much issue. As a matter of fact, I walked out of Into the Spiderverse with the same kind of energy that I had walking out of Nightmare Before Christmas. I was tickled like a little child would be tickled.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
I did like the first movie
Everything
too.
I ever wanted. I mean, we've got semi two-dimensional characters actually acting with an actual two-dimensional character in the form of Spider Pig. I was like, what? Holy crap! These guys are pulling off stuff that I didn't even think was ever going to come to screen.
Yeah, and of course he makes it into the Simpsons movie as well.
Oh, that's right.
And don't underestimate well underknown characters, because Pops will agree with me on this. These lesser known, apparently C-list villains and characters, in the right hands, Batman animated series, I'm talking to you, boy, can bring these characters into a totally new light with a little bit of creativity and love. We get the new Iceman.
Yeah, well,
Mr. Freeze, I mean.
Mr. Freeze. The Batman animated series elevated, 2 or 3 villains to like next level stuff, and I've been happy, even though I'm skeptical about the rumors of them actually trying to adapt Clayface into something, because I think that's actually a very underutilized Batman villain. But no, Sony owns like 100. I think I read once 150 Spider-Man characters. I mean, you may have a ton of them are very obscure, like the Spot. But the Spot has been around since the 80s, right? So the Spot's not new. It's just something that hasn't really materialized in the right hands. And it does, like you said, Steve, it takes the right artist, person, creative mind to do something. Because, I mean, let's face it, this is why certain characters become next level. I mean, Moon Knight never really found a spot until Stephen Platt did it for me. Like when Stephen Platt drew it, I was like, holy crap. Then I went down the rabbit hole of all this Moon Knight stuff, which was written well, but the art wasn't there. The art just looked like just another generic costume character to me. I never enjoyed it as much. So yes, but and I agree with the first Spider-Verse movie and this one as well. Like it is possible that some of this stuff works. I'm worried that it's just a lot of Easter egging and not necessarily the I don't know, the meat of a story, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, this is the Spot, by the way. I am uploading and downloading videos while I'm doing this on with you guys, so I do apologize.
Yeah, not a problem. No, it's cool. That. Yeah, no, the guy's name, is totally the Spot, and I never thought I'd see him in a film, but there he is. But here's the first thing that pops up right there. If you just take a look at his little notebook there, BLM. There's the first little red marker right there. And I'm like,
I gotta say, the biggest red flag first for me before the BLM thing is they're messing around with a story about a 13-year-old, and we've already heard they're floating this trans children thing. Now, you don't have to be a conservative to think to yourself, this is really fucking weird. Where's your audience for this ad campaign? Like, is this just another way to get bad will going ahead of time for a movie? Did they see this at the end of the day and they're like, shit, we fucked up, it's failed, and like had to rip half of this movie out? I mean, He's really, really, really young. Miles Morales is 13.
Yeah.
Like, how badly will they botch the morality? Like, he can't delete his opponent. He has to, like, take him prisoner at the end. Like, he can't just go killing people.
No, he can't.
Yeah.
And this kind of surprises me with his dad being a cop, and his mom Latino. And, like, do we need to inject this into it? No, we don't.
But now I see myself in him because my father was a cop and I'm Latino. I'm just like, my father was an Irish cop and my mother wasn't, she's a white lady. What can I tell you?
Yeah. And, so moving on with, that was the first thing that I caught. And then here's the other one. Right above the doorway. You can just barely make it out, but if you look close enough, there it is. Protect trans kids. That flag right above the doorway.
Ooh, paint that out, guys. You don't want to. You don't want this problem. You're already losing your corporate town.
Yep.
But I got to be honest. I can see this as. I'll just play devil's advocate. I can see this, or I see a lot of this as just being the generic pandering that they do on purpose to one virtue signal to the people that want it. And then, they know they're going to get hate and rage clicks and conversations just like we're having right now. But at the end of the day, the movie probably has very little to do with any of that. It's probably more just like a whole bunch of just chaos. And then they throw these things in there because look at us. We're just so woke. We're just so connected to you guys. Invite us to the next party, please.
If you wanted to start a conspiratorial podcast, it would be about an extremist right-wing corporation beyond the pale right wing that started sectioning off one unlikable left-wing character after another in a false flag operation to make people hate it because I've read some scholarly papers about a different Marvel thing where everyone thinks everything's a conspiracy now because of mid-credit sequences for 20 years.
Yep.
It's bred people to think that there's always got to be another shoe to drop, no matter how plain things seem to be.
Yeah. And Pops, I'm going to double down on what you were just saying too. I once again, I trust Sony a lot with this property, and I trust all their activity with Spider-Man in multiple incarnations have all been way above the mid range. They've all been good to extraordinary. So. They were entertaining. So I think that the earmark thing is quite true, that they're probably just checking off boxes. And the proof I bring to that table is, does everybody remember when the no smoking policy actually became something you started seeing show up in commercials, backgrounds, character dialogue, feature films? They were actually receiving federal grants for that kind of propaganda being inputted into the films. The same thing goes with, product placement. It's a very similar thing. So, one could just use the business model of product placement and government-driven propaganda, like no smoking, the war on drugs, that kind of thing.
That's a good point.
So we're probably seeing a very similar form of activity and payoff and grift going with these new data points of Black Lives Matter and trans rights matter. So I don't think it's a immediate red flag, but they're just using it to drive the industry. Like I said earlier in the podcast, these people have weaponized our voices against us. So every point of criticism we have is actually a dollar on their side of the fence. So we got to be cautious with all this.
How out of it are these Hollywood people? I just want to ask this in all seriousness. Unironically, when's the last time like BLM just trended on its own on Twitter?
Yeah, well, there you go. There's another reason.
But they don't.
Well, now
so
it's not. It's like, so this is like been in the pipeline, whatever. And also, you know what? I did forget that this isn't Disney. And so a lot of the things that I think would automatically destroy this movie aren't going to happen. The Sony people are smarter. I stand corrected.
Yep.
Well, I just want to say too. Remember the first film won an Oscar, right? So they have to put some of these little woke checkbox tick marks in order to qualify for an Oscar these days. So that some of this is going to be in there. I will also agree with what Stephen was saying in the sense of they seem like they're a lot more savvy about how trying to keep this Spider-Man brand going. And they're going to throw everything they've got against the wall. So we're going to get Black Spider Woman. We're not going to get the real Jessica Drew. We're going to get this black one, right? We're also going to get like the Indian and some of the stuff. Look, again, this stuff's in the comic books. It's not like they have to even be the first one to do it. So the Indian Spider-Man is going to be
how
in there.
about
Miguel O'Hara, Scarlet Spider, all this stuff.
Tasm Spider-Gwen.
Oh yeah. Crimson Toy says, question is, why is government pushing something that's less than 1% of the population unless medical procedures is the end game?
I think you might be onto something there. We've certainly seen a huge trend in advertising people into the medical industry in the last 10 years. They've been really, really pushing that to kind of glut the market with nurses and doctors and assistant doctors and so on. The Food and Drug Administration has definitely been pushing the whole here's a pill to solve all your problems, speak to your doctor. I mean, how many speak to your doctor commercials can we tolerate at this point?
Oh God, you guys are filled with them.
At one point in the not too distant past, it was illegal to advertise prescription drugs on TV.
Right.
Now they're every other commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think
millions of dollars.
They tried to pass a healthcare reform bill during Bill Clinton, and he got in trouble in the middle of it. So what happens is they stripped away all protections, and they never got to pass the new laws. So that's why you can advertise any supplement with the wildest lack of caution, like we've seen some of these supplement commercials.
Yeah.
So just remember, ladies and gentlemen, drugs more regulated than supplements. You got to really do your research before you start doing something like drinking metal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right.
I pulled up just out of curiosity. I did pull up a couple of websites that listed some of the characters. I have to admit, I'm very high level aware of some of these characters that are going to be in this movie. That's how many spider characters they own. It's pretty crazy. You want me to read off a few of these things because it's a little nuts.
You may go for it.
Obviously, the obvious things you're going to see is the Miles Morales. You're going to see Spider-Gwen, who also goes by Ghost Spider, by the way. The little kids know Ghost Spider, so I think Ghost Spider is already in some sort of cartoon or something because the littles know that. Because I had my grandkids, so I've had my grandkids now 3 different trips over the course of 6 weeks, and I've learned what they're into and what they're not into. And Disney is out, by the way. That's a different story.
Yeah.
The big buzz, of course, is that Spider-Man 2099 is in this. Obviously, Miguel O'Hara has been featured in a couple of the trailers.
I liked that comic in the day.
That comic book, the first appearance, that cool holographic, was it Spider-Man Amazing? I think it's 375.
I have it somewhere.
Make sure it's in good condition because that book is taken off like crazy.
Wow.
So then there's the Spider. So then the amazing Peter Parker that we had the first time. So it's Peter B. Parker, right? So it's that Peter Parker. He's back. Spider-Woman, of course, is the black afroed. That one. She's a motorcycle enthusiast and she's pregnant. That's what it says.
Okay.
All right.
Spider-Punk, the British punk rock Spider-Man from Camden. I don't remember Spider-Punk, but
now how will we be able to tell if he's gay if he's going to be British?
I don't know. He does not have rainbows on his spiked vest, so we'll have to keep our eye out for that.
Even then, he's a punk rocker.
Japanese Spider-Man, so they're going to use that one.
Oh, like classic 70s Japanese Spider-Man?
A little bit. Kind of got that look feel to it. And I don't know what it will look like in the animated version, but kind of like a
please give me the giant mecha.
Yeah.
I want to see the giant mecha. Come on. They got to give me that.
It is pretty cool looking. Let me see. Can I share? I'm not sure how my stream will hold up here if I try to share it. Let me close some other windows.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool looking.
I so want that Spider-Man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, remember too that this film is going to be a huge reskinning property for their Spider-Man game. I mean, there's a lot of kids that are just into buying these new skins for Spider-Man. So all of these characters will now be available with dialogue overlay.
Oh yeah, of course.
Let's see. Then we have Insomniac Spider-Man.
Insomniac Spider-Man.
I'm just reading what I got here, bro. I have no idea what this is. This one's out of my wheelhouse. I don't know anything.
No,
about
that's
this.
fine. That's fine.
Fuck, man.
It's all right.
That one I don't know anything about. Now this one I did know about. Spider-Man India has been confirmed for a very long time.
There's been an India Spider-Man.
Wow.
Oh yeah, this has been around for a while. This has actually been in the comic books for a while. So I do not know how to say the character's name. Because obviously this is the Indian version of Peter Parker. So it's Pavitir Prabhakar. I no idea. So there you go.
Just fun enough that you're saying it. Okay,
No,
Scarlet Spider, I'm okay with.
I just want to say, Spider-Man should be from Queens. Okay, that's all I'm saying. He should be from Queens.
The problem is that they don't actually, as far as I've read, now I've not read Spider-Man India. I did read Miles Morales, and he is not Spider-Man. He is just a knockoff version, a literal knockoff version of Peter Parker's origin story. Yeah. It's unbearably ripped off. Ripped off. And at least with Miguel O'Hara's character, the 2099 version has a completely different origin of how he becomes Spider-Man, right?
Does he botch an experiment on his own?
Yeah, it's just different. Right? It's like, let's do different things. If you want to make them, they don't make them have the same costume design. Just have them come up with other crazy designs. And it's just
he was cool. He was cool and unique and had enough of his own identity to really be out there. And I guess they learned a lot of lessons from him to make all these other Spider-Men. But did some of them get their powers in equally cool ways, or are all of them just like knockoffs of Peter Parker?
Yeah, I haven't read India.
It's there's a proliferation of scientists who just like to shoot radiation at spiders. It was a worldwide phenomenon in the 60s through the 90s.
Well, Admiral Teague, if I may, Mr. Admiral Teague of Starfleet, in a multiverse, all the Spider-Men that we're witnessing to this connection would have a similar origin because of similarities in multiverse parallel. Right? So they would all have a similar origin. That's how they all know each other and recognize each other as Spider-Men. In other universes, they may have alternate origins, which would be other parts of the multiverse.
I'm going to have to take good faith origin on this one merely because I've heard it said in every movie that the multiverse does make sense. I just can't possibly understand it. So you must be right.
Yeah, well, we're all aging out of this universe, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think so.
There's a young version of me out there that still gets it, though. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
So we got Scarlet Spider.
Scarlet Spider is the famous clone. The famous clone story, Ben Reilly. Ben Reilly, of course, is way more popular now than he was during he had his own clone run. For those of you who don't know, he's definitely had a resurgence. Superior Spider-Man, which is kind of a Doc Ock swapping consciousness with Peter story. Yeah. I was never a fan, but this is, kind of how they pulled that off.
It was interesting.
Yeah, it was a bit of a stretch for me personally, but fine. This is the animated spectacular Spider-Man that we all kind of love. So I thought this was actually kind of cool. I'm not quite sure exactly how this will kind of work into things, but I'm down with this.
Right. Isn't it weird how they manage, even DC as well, maybe even more so, to capture the character as we thought of them from the comic book in their animated series when it goes well? Because sometimes it doesn't. Their Batman, animated Batman, was a much more on-point Batman for some of the ways we saw him at the time the show was airing.
It's really the best Batman ever, in my opinion, but that's,
a lot of people say that, and then Superman from that same era was also very well done, and a lot of people like that Superman best.
Yeah, I won't say I'm good. I'm definitely agree with the Batman in particular. As a Batman nerd, that's for sure. So Spider Monkey is from the Marvel Apes universe. So there is actually this Earth 8101. I had just heard about this, and I thought to myself, okay, so what they do is they create these little stories. A Marvel Apes story, basically. So there's a Marvel Zombie universe, right? Everything is on. So they create a number for that universe. So there's evidently a Marvel Apes universe, and this is 8101. So this is that Spider-Man. I did not know, or I would not have thought they owned this to do this, but he is the combined powers of a monkey and a spider, but not a spider monkey. So I'm just making sure I'm clear for anyone at home who's not keeping up. Spider monkey
but
does
that
not
would
mean
be so
spider
obvious.
monkey.
Stay away from Spider Monkey Man. Okay, that's a terrible idea.
That's the
Sony.
spoof. That's the spoof that Mike and I will write. Is that we will write now into the Spider Monkey verse, and we will now have parody versions of all of these things. So if you thought Spider Ham was crazy, wait till you get Spider Monkey Ham or Spider Monkey Bacon, which I'm going to pitch in particular.
Is it Salacious Crumb a Spider Monkey?
Well, he's the king villain of the Spider Monkey universe. Way to spoil that. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry.
You know what?
I know my bad guys in Star Wars, and I want to say that I kept trying to update the Star Wars thing about Salacious Crumb. I was like, and he was never seen again after that day, with it to bring laughter to thousands because he was such a great star. So Disney, I think, is going to bring him in particular back. I think he's a member.
I think it's great. I'm down with it. They were shooting them out of the trees in the last episode of Mandalorian because they're out of ideas.
We know that they're kind of alive enough, right? Like that's like shooting a dog, or meaner.
Yeah. They were shooting them out because they're pirates. They're pirates' life for me. Bombastic Bagman. I had no idea what this was. Evidently, it's an alien symbiote, and that's what this is from. It's like the Human Torch gives Peter a Fantastic Four suit with "Kick Me" sign on the back. As Peter travels from city, he's thrown a brown paper bag as a mask, becoming known as Bombastic Bagman. So this seems like one of those single issue type things that they just throw in. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's when Peter did go to see Reed Richards, and because he did know something was going on with the symbiote suit, and when he found it was alive, and when he actually managed to temporarily separate him, he wasn't wearing a mask underneath his, underneath the symbiote, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So because he didn't want his identity to get out, even though he trusted Reed Richards, right? He quickly put a bag over his head. And
it vaguely sounds familiar. Because you're at least describing the right era of that Secret War Spider-Man crossover type stuff. What I don't think is on this list, though, is I don't know what this guy is over here. He's a Spider-Man, but he's got like a black suit with like a yellow almost like the ape guy. But this is Spider Monkey. This is like an ape guy. I don't know what this guy is supposed to be. He wasn't mentioned.
Could it be a turtle Spider-Man?
It does look like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Right? Doesn't that look like a turtle underbelly chest? Underbelly plate?
I think it's more like a gorilla chest is what I think it looks like to me.
Could be.
But, I wanted to point out here, Sony is making a very, very good move here. They're basically solidifying their ownership of Spider-Man by introducing every single incarnation they can under their banner.
Yep.
And Marvel won't blink because from what I understand is they own the toy rights. So if they would just be smart enough to start making $5.99 toys again and not toys that are $15, they could sell $5.99 toys faster than they could make them. Because every parent's kids would want all these freaking spider. Because there's girls and boys. I mean, you would be printing money if you could bring back a price point that parents can actually afford. I am not buying action figures for my grandkids that are $15 and $20. I'm just not doing it because I took the arms and heads off mine. I know they're going to do the same.
Yeah, it's a shame. I tell you that for me as a fan in this whole argument. That's the saddest point for me, and I always mention it whenever possible. It's this tremendous loss of revenue. I mean, think of the number of things of goodness that could have been done in the world with the trillions of dollars that have been left on the floor because they screwed up all these franchises. It's just the marketing and the toy manufacturing and everything.
We could have fed an entire city's worth of hungry people for 4 months on the money it took to do the reshoots alone on Indiana Jones 5.
Oh, forget about it. How about the money they spent on Henry Cavill's mustache, for Christ's sake?
Yeah.
Jesus,
there we go.
Man.
Crimson Toys. I'm buying $59.99 US for one.
Not to mention the spinning of Gene Roddenberry in his grave has not been captured to solve the energy crisis. He must be spinning so fast right now. There's a vortex over that grave.
So number 5, Lady Spider. I've never seen her.
So she is in the same universe. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong because it's 803. I thought I had the different universe. Anyway, this is an Aunt May Spider-Man. So it has multiple arms and things like that. It's an Aunt May. So Aunt May is Spider, whatever. And yeah,
God,
yeah, nice. It's terrible. It's terrible. Then we have manga, which I think is probably money. Again, this is the printing money. Can you imagine the action figure line? We're talking about like 50 action figures at this point.
Right.
Yeah,
this is insane. These things will be flying off the shelves because there's something for everyone. Spider-Man Unlimited, which again I think was really, really popular back in the day. Like this 90s animated series. I've had 2 or 3 people asking me for this. Like I'm doing Batman and X-Men on Saturdays, and people are blowing me up. Like, hey, listen, can you do all these other shows? This is definitely one that gets recommended a lot. So
yeah.
Then there's Madam Web, which has been very, very popular. I actually have sold, I think, almost all of my Madam Web trading cards out of my eBay store. So
no,
people are all about this.
Old lady.
What's that?
I thought she was an old lady.
Well, there's different versions of Madam Web. This is the Julia Carpenter version, which is more like the more of this more new version of how they kind of did. But yeah, the old lady version was what the original look was. But yeah, she loses her Spider-Woman alias and adopts this Madam Web thing. And then, of course, then there's Spider-Girl. So this is, again, alternate universe. This is when Peter loses a leg and he has to retire. He can't be Spider-Man. And then Mayday, which is their daughter, she becomes. And I think this is the concern I have with her is I'm worried there is going to be a lot of push for her because she is, again, very popular, allegedly, with some of these kids. Again, I don't know if those kids have money or not, but at least in theory, it's popular.
So, and all of that, where's the original Peter Parker?
He's old. He's fat. He's not around.
He's a beach bum.
Yeah, he's kind of like got dad bod. He's not really the Peter Parker that you and I know because in this story,
not the Peter B. Parker, but I guess they killed the original in the first.
Correct. In the universe that Miles is from, in Miles's universe, Peter's dead. Correct.
Yeah.
Wow. And the deal is like we got a reduced expectation for this like movie's reality, right? So they can be a little bit weird and people still like it. But the question is, will they just blow the whole thing?
I don't think so.
It doesn't seem that hard to get this one right. You would have to make a few mistakes and overcommit a lot to botch this one because you got a lot to work with. The problem here is if it degenerates into character soup.
It certainly looks like it could. I mean, just given the sheer number of characters there, I'm not familiar with most of them.
Right.
I mean, I kind of echo Eric July when he said there's only one Peter Parker, there's only one Spider-Man. So that's how I feel about it. So seeing,
and again, this could just be a lot of stuff that happens during like multiverse hopping, which is what I expected the Doctor Strange movie to do, and it did not do like at all. So I think this is a better arena for them to at least have an option to ping through different universes and see these characters, but then not spin their wheels there and stay on task with the main character. And that's what I would do. I would focus on, this is the main story, but we're going to ping through the multiverse in different ways. We're going to see some of these different things because you never know what the fans will cling on to and want more of. And if you can make another show or make another movie, then so be it. So,
and that foregoes the possibility that the way how they'll handle their multiverse is up for question. We may slip from multiverse to multiverse by transferring our attention to, like Gwen has multiple Spider Women that she could be attached to, and her personality could literally slip into these other multiverses and it's still Gwen, but we recognize her as a new Spider-Man because of the costume and the multiverse that she's standing in. I mean, they could handle it like that as well. But fear not. The number of characters they're introducing could quite literally be one battle sequence at the end of the film.
Which I think it will.
Yeah.
More than likely. So,
but
I don't know.
I said, this is proof that Sony knows what they're doing. They're pulling the rake big time. They're just tossing that rake edge out there and just dragging all the Spider-Men and women to their front door, and they're not going to allow any of it to slip past their fingers. They're really going to make sure that everything is under their wing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree. Marvel has introduced a lot of Spider titles over the years. My God.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Sony's doing it right. They're not going to give up that property without a fight. And doing it this way.
Yeah, with a solid game plan, Sony could kill it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, they totally did it in the the Doctor Strange crossover, No Way Home. And they did it. They did it fantastically, I must say. It was a great movie, and this just adds to it, I think. Despite the little tidbits here and there, because I got a daughter, she does like Spider-Man, and being 13 years old right now, it's the little things that I'm hoping, because once it's in the eyes, that's my problem with the little things like that. Support trans kids or protect trans kids and BLM stuff, and which it doesn't have to be in there. Just let kids be kids, and especially for an animated movie like this, doesn't need to be in there.
You don't need
anything
to worry.
For the message.
You don't need to worry to yourself, do I need to have this conversation with a child on the way home from a movie? So, yeah, it's a bad sign, but maybe they won't notice it. I mean, it did.
That's what I'm hoping.
And then it's just like, what do you say? Well, you know what? There's really small portions of a really small portion of a really small portion of a really small amount of people who you may or may not ever even meet, depending upon where you live.
Well, Admiral, let's flip that equation around. When we go into films, right, as fans, we recognize things in the background. We recognize character names. We recognize looks and personalities and casting choices. And we earmark all of them as fans because we know all the background data, right? We know the comic book names, we know the character names, and we're like, oh my God. I mean, how excited were we when we heard Harvey Dent's name mentioned in the 80s Batman movie franchise, right? We were like, oh, we're finally going to get Two-Face in this live action.
And the first time they had him cast well.
So imagine if you flip that back around again. That's all they're doing with these little background things, is just to make sure that this wild, ornery, politically driven, and ambitious crowd has something to look at. It's really just window dressing, I think.
It's a strange hill to stake your flag on and be like, all right, we're going to go out in this cause that's supported by a really small, like, one of the things this community defines itself on is they're small, right? Real small community, and we're going to advance a radical part of their agenda that maybe not even most of them agree with. It's just like my metaphor is always like somewhere Chaz Bona's like shaking their head watching The Masked Singer, hearing about this stuff, like, wow, these comic book people really have a weird, I mean, it's such a small amount of people, and we're going to make yet another movie that sort of is catering to them, and it's just like, what is it like? What percentage of Americans are trans, and what percentage of Americans have a college diploma?
Well, and if you attach all of the people that are either adjacent or allies of them, then you've got a much larger crowd than you think of, and they're politically motivated. These people think they're saving the world by tweeting. So,
do we make it to 5%? You're right about that, though. And the conflation of Twitter with the real world, where I've just realized that they probably should stop talking to Robert Meyer Burnett.
Yeah, there we go. Here's a life choice.
Might not be good for me to argue in bad faith about Star Trek anymore.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead, Pops. You were saying?
I was just going to reiterate again. Remember, there was all this diversity and equity, like demands from the Oscar group about what you kind of had to do to kind of qualify. And this film was Oscar award-winning last time, so I can see them putting these little tick marks out there to go, well, look at what we did, look at what we did, look at what we did, and not derail its story. But you're absolutely right, Admiral Teague, that there are a lot of red flags. And there's no reason to, trust any of these people. I don't trust any of them. The same people who made, the Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, Morbius. I mean, these are all the same folks. It's the same studio. So yes, they have hits and misses. So we shouldn't just assume either way. But it is interesting conversation at least.
Even Song of the South, which I'm like, I don't think it had been taken out of theaters. I think I saw that with all the Disney movies when people would still go to movies because I'm a little older. Like my mom took me to see movies, but she didn't have to worry about any of those movies explaining something fucked up on the way home. Like even Song of the South, it was just that out of context and that vague and weird, like in a strange, like weird world that these people live in, and like bears just talk.
Have you watched that recently? Because I own a copy of it. Actually,
South. I'd like to kind of see it again. Just I don't believe that we should censor any of these things because if they're really bad, you can see it and see they're bad, right?
Yeah.
The most messed up part of that film is the fact that it is completely opposite to what they claim. Uncle Remus is entirely the hero of the show. He is the most gracious, best role model to be a great human. It's so frustrating that they're censoring this film. Like, it's really strange. We watched it with the grandkids a few months ago. I have a copy, and I'm actually we need to do like an EFAP of that, but that's like an all day thing, man. I need to set aside like 8 hours to do that for me because Lord knows it would be a project to try to get through it all.
Well, if anyone is pedantic, it's me. I'll definitely, I 8 hours of Song of the South, pencil me in. I'm canceling my plans.
Admiral Pedantic.
But if you like pedantry, check out Admiral Teague and Saving Star Trek. We get we spend 3.5 hours disassembling the episodes of Picard. I'm pretty fair. I'm still waiting for this story to pay off. I'm sure
that you are.
I'm sure it's good. This is good. Next week is going to be the week they turn it around. I can't wait to watch this next episode 3 or 4 times so that I can engage the new Trek fleet.
Oh, and John Reynolds says to Pops, it's on the Internet Archive, free to view.
Interesting. Did not know
that. And Crimson Toys also says, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I found my copy. It's a crazy story. We were on vacation in Georgia, and we went to like this gorge, and they have this little gift shop of all these strange novelties and things like that. And there in this little nook and cranny are all these sealed DVDs, which were clearly transfers from Laserdiscs.
Right.
And yeah, there were copies of the Song of the South. I bought one from my friend and myself. I'm like, oh, all right, look at this. We're taking this home, babe. Yeah.
Nice.
She's like, I can't believe they have that here. I'm like, yeah, who knew?
And Crimson Toys says, what's the percentage of college graduates that actually know anything useful?
3.
Yeah, 3.
3.
You go with 3? Okay. You're gracious.
It's definitely not 42 because 42 is usually the default answer. So if it's not 42, 3 is the magic number. That's it. Those are your answers for most things. It's 42 or 3.
Yeah.
Just a rule of Pops.
We'll definitely go with 3. God. Oh, jeez. And I think the one important thing is where Sony, see, they're how should I put it? They're doing it in such a way, schedule-wise, that it's nicely spaced out, everything. All their Spider-Man movies, let's put it this way. Whether it's the newer live-action ones or, in this case, the animated movie that's due to come out pretty soon, right? They're not you don't get this sense of superhero fatigue when it comes to the Spider-Man movies as opposed to all the Marvel movies that they're just trying to bash you over the head with. I don't get that way with the Spider-Man movies. So and I don't know why. Like, I kind of know why, but I don't know why at the same time, right?
Why what? Why the Spider-Man property seems to be more integral to itself, or I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
like
understanding
why I'm not getting that superhero fatigue when it comes to, say, a Spider-Man movie, as opposed to, say, the rest of the MCU or the DCU or
better writing.
That could be
coming off his best movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best movie that this Spider-Man has done.
Yeah.
Which one now?
I guess it's, what is it? No Way Home.
No Way Home. That could be it. So
yeah, I don't understand the Tom Holland hate. It's like he's doing a fine job. I think
so.
He's young. He's fit.
Looks great for 33.
He's got the Michael J. Fox, DNA strand. So he's
go ahead.
30 or 40 years, easy.
So I can just say I don't have Tom Holland hate, but I can say that I see him more as Spider Boy, and I enjoyed the way the trilogy wrapped up because then it made him Spider-Man when it ended. So in retrospect, I enjoy it more now. In the journey, I was really not enjoying the fact that he wasn't really Spider-Man. He was like sidekick boy to Iron Man and everything else.
Yeah.
And he grew into becoming Spider-Man by the end. And I think that actually was a very nice way to wrap it up. And I'm very nervous about how they want to move forward.
Yeah.
The whole sidekick to Iron Man annoyed me as well. It wasn't in character from the comic books back when I read them, because Peter Parker was intelligent in his own right. He was an inventor.
Yeah.
He had intellect, but none of that is in the MCU movies. He's sidekick.
No, they made Tony more or less the Uncle Ben for the first few movies, and he was the person that he kind of was attached to and loses.
Yep. I believe that the Tom Holland Peter Parker is at least 35% different than the actual Marvel property.
Yeah.
42%.
32.562 to be precise, Captain.
The secret to the universe is 42. And if that does not work for your analogy, you have to use 3, because that is the magic number.
But
this is very simple rules. Why are you guys not playing along with my my math here? I am a biologist. I actually know what I'm talking about.
By the way, anybody out there in the audience that doesn't know the definition of the word, this is chortling, what we're doing right now.
Yes.
There's some chortling going on.
There's no wailing or gnashing of teeth, at least not yet. So, yeah. No scoffing. What was the other thing?
How I feel about
snorting and guffaws?
Right. Guffaws and snorting, yes. So, maybe later on, I don't know. So, yeah, I think also because I just know that, Spider-Man has just had a lot of, how should I put it? A lot of amazing villains, a lot of, iconic villains that I just want to see more of, as opposed to, all these other MCU movies where it's just now it just seems more of a mishmash of, what can we just put out there? And Spider-Man and his his entire, I suppose you can call Spideyverse at this point, basically. It seems just more, I don't know if consistent is the right word to use, because he has a lot of these iconic villains, Rhino, and the Scorpion,
Kraven.
and Electro, Kraven, right? All of these other ones, and that in the lineup of things, they're going to come up, and because they're just iconic that way, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just plucking another character out of the Marvel tree and hope it tastes good when I bite into it.
Right. Yeah. No, sorry, guys, not ripe yet.
Yeah.
They're
iconic to us who've read comic books, but to anybody else, Sony or even Marvel or anybody could just take the characters and do whatever they want with them, to altering their origins, to changing this, that, or the other thing on them. I'd love to see Kraven, but I hate the thought of them changing Kraven's origin or
they're changing him, all right.
anything about
they're
him.
going to change him, all right.
And they're going to change him.
Yeah.
We'll get
Craven
sponsored by.
I just want to throw down with the Sony supporters. I do think they provided us, by and large, with better movies, and we haven't seen like damaging movies from them, even when they've been bad. Some of them have been bad, but where's the one that really fucks everything up too much?
Well,
most of that stuff was pre. I hate using this term because people keep attacking me for trying to use this term woke. By woke, I mean social justice, third wave feminism. I don't want to have to keep defining the word, but the pre-2016, 2015, 16 era, so they don't have as much sort of like baggage because they didn't have as much money to throw into the ring. And they kind of are riding the wave of this No Way Home phenomenon and the fact that Into the Spiderverse was successful. Yeah, I mean, the MCU was throwing 20-something movies against the wall, so they don't get the blood on their hands.
And Hal Phantom Outsider are like this. What? Wait till Marvel fails again with its pre-failure Squirrel Girl.
I actually almost had a stroke when I saw the comic book where Squirrel Girl beats Thanos.
Yeah, I know.
I almost had I literally think I had a little aneurysm. I think I literally had a little aneurysm. Like I couldn't believe what I was looking at. So,
yeah. Yes, and we do mean this, Phantom Outsider. You mean MCU Kraken? Kraken. Yeah, Kraken. Animal Lover. That's what you get.
Kraken lacking.
That's what the Looney Tunes at Marvel are promoting him as. Yeah. Well, it's not really MCU because it's under Sony because Kraven is Spiderverse, technically speaking.
I have to admit, are you excited over the Kraven stuff and all this? I'm a little over the villain stories. I'm like a little over the sympathetic villain stuff.
Right.
Like
I don't want sympathetic villain. I want villain.
Yeah, I want a villain to be a villain.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, nobody complains about how sympathetic or not Hans Gruber is, and yet he is an excellent villain.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I want. Now, this is what I'm wondering, because Sony owns or has bought Bad Wolf. Why has that ball been dropped with what they're releasing lately now with that? See, they're doing great with Spider-Man overall. And yet, Sony has a part with Bad Wolf and dropping the ball hard on Doctor Who. With their whole now they're introducing another trans character into this whole stupid mix. Like, anyway, that's another week for another time.
But I think that what I
and hell, Guatemalan Rooster, nice to see you here.
All right, Guatemalan Rooster.
Hello.
I'm just glad someone else drove home the point about sort of the Sony thing maybe is your best bet to get a fairly quality movie, because I think that there's at least some people there who have cool enough heads to be like, to at some point in the story process, so like, don't take this too far over the edge. Like this had to be conceived after the Bond movie, where we already saw them starting to slowly walk back some of the worst parts. Although that movie is nothing to write home about.
Yeah. Guatemalan Rooster says the good villains have some kind of reason for what they do. They don't just be bad just to be bad.
Well, I don't know. Hans Gruber seems pretty delighted at being awful. So I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of James Bond villains did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting to note because Admiral mentioned Doctor Who. I forget now who exactly mentioned Doctor Who, but I'm pretty sure it was the Admiral. It's interesting that Sony has the Doctor Who property and the James Bond property, and both of those are being backpedaled like furiously. Like that's how you ride a bicycle, by backpedaling. I think it's interesting to note that they're both British characters, and there may be a BBC British, film archive or property association that's involved in all of this, that's pushing Sony to get these properties going in those directions. And it's not really Sony's fault. It might be part of their agreement with these associations. I mean, it is a British-owned property.
Yeah. It's very odd, very weird.
I still think if you point your eyes towards the money and the business end of this, it all starts to make a hell of a lot more sense. Just the Spideyverse characters. We saw a Spider-Man for pretty much every demographic on the planet. So
that's true.
Talk about a smart move. You want to get into some new marketplaces? Here's your vehicle, folks. We got a multiverse of Spider-Mans from every nationality on the planet, including several off the planet. So, how could you go wrong? How could you go wrong? It seems like a smart move in my book.
Phantom Outsider says, yeah, a good Doctor Who story with a trans character would have them getting injured and say, I'm ex-female, and the aliens go, really? Because your prostate is severely damaged. I don't want to know where that probe's going to go.
Hi-yo!
Hi-yo!
Alien 3, bring out probe extra wide, please.
Exactly.
Fit.
Beep.
In the next episode of The Attack of Henry's Mustache.
Oh my God. Oh man. Oh Lord. Yeah, that's good. I like that. So I think we're gonna call it a night. I want to thank everybody that was here having a good old time on a Titillating Tuesday. Stephen, awesome to have you here. Plug away what you want to plug.
Actually, I don't think I have anything coming up. I'm going to be hopping over to my buddy Hoffcast after this to check out the rest of his show. And on Thursday, Roman of the Empire is doing his third wave, I think, on comic books that influence the industry. That's 5 p.m. Pacific at Roman of the Empire, which is +3, brings us to 8 p.m. on the East Coast, I think.
Nice.
And I'm trying to think of what else is going on. I think Wakazashi's Tea House might be brewing something up for Friday evening as well. And then definitely, if you have, I'm not involved with it personally, but I can't help but mention it out there. Abomination AJ and Left Eye Ego do a show called Heroes No Capes on Saturday morning, which is an absolute delight. These two young men are really bringing it. They're both under 1,000 subscribers, but these guys have got plenty of legs. They've got a really, really promising future in the YouTubeverse. Go check it out. Saturday morning, Heroes No Capes.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that out. If you got a link, just put it in the private chat and I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
Or if any of you guys got.
Yeah, actually, Pops, you might be better equipped at doing that. I'm playing off a phone.
And Pop Culture Republic, what do you got?
Hello. Well, thank you for having me on as always. I'm Pop Culture Republic. I do live streams here and there on just about anything that interests me. Comic books, TV shows, movies, what have you. I'm working on a few scripts for future live streams on K-dramas that I've been enjoying recently because American television has been just so sad. I find myself going to K-dramas for good entertainment.
I know, me too.
And I'm pulling up a link for my channel here pretty quick.
All righty. Nice. And I will introduce that into the chat as soon as I get it. And there we go. And I got that from Pops. Thank you, Pops.
Sweet.
Thank you, Pops. Right in there.
There it goes.
There we go. There.
Link away in the private chat.
There we go. And for Pop Culture Republic, ding ding. Add that in. All right. And the illustrious Admiral Teague. What you got going on there, bud?
I'm Admiral Teague, and I am a victim of the show Picard. I am documenting.
We're all supposed to say hello, Admiral Teague.
Hello, Admiral Teague.
I want to thank you all for providing this safe space where I can come and talk about how a bald, cowardly space robot's AI ghost could make me so sad at how he could retroactively destroy my childhood. I will be watching this cowardly bald space robot on my channel Admiral Teague, and my show is called Saving Star Trek on Sundays, and I've been doing a couple of we're expanding into war movie reviews and some other maybe better Star Trek. And it's funny. I just want to say this is the most divisive show ever. So on Fridays we do the show breakdown at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, -4 GMT, and we've seen like the settling in of sort of two mindsets towards the show, and everyone's pretty cool. Like we're friends with each other, but like it's mirroring the outside world. There's no rancor between us except when Ranker Steve comes on, and I'm like, that's we just have a rancor in the house. But but those of us who like it are starting to feel like those of us who don't maybe just don't get it or aren't making a leap of faith enough, and that we're being too skeptical. And I'm like, I guess I have been branded the skeptic of this one, so I hate watch it alone, objectively. Usually on Thursday I'm going to try to do that again because I got a lot of views last time. People seem to enjoy me losing my mind watching this show, so we'll see what time I get home from work on Thursday and if I can handle Picard.
And like Phantom Outsider says, yeah, show us on the doll where B Hard hurt you.
You know, there's going to be an entire podcast about that. And we're going to use the Ilea from the Star Trek The Motion Picture. And, I invite all of you here to please come by and visit me on my Sunday show, Saving Star Trek, where we open it up and talk a little more about pop culture.
Yeah.
Ilea
is actually the origin point for all replicants in the Star Trek universe.
There might be something to be said for that, and then there's some fan theories about V'ger, one where he was made by the Borg, and another where they say maybe he made the Borg. So there's a lot of weird stuff out there.
Ooh.
Anything's better than watching Picard. I suggest that you listen to me or people like me transcribe the show for you. On Friday, sometimes we have up to 3 people playing parts in the Picard show. We read the captions right off the screen and do a little telenovela for you.
Nice.
Yes.
And John Reynolds, Picard. If I wanted bad ham, I'd buy some Spam.
Yeah, we have to get like a round table going during the week, and if you can't, so that you can be there, because if we do it on the weekend and you can't, I at least wanted like an upload of you, like a 5-minute rant of how this show is like just dogged us both. It's been a nightmare. It's so terrible. This is like
Totally.
a denader of our pop culture. People complain about She-Hulk. People complain about other things like this. It's so much worse than She-Hulk because there was no She-Hulk
be careful
to destroy. No, I mean, this would be like a Wonder Woman movie where Linda Carter came out looking and acting horrible, maybe smoking cigarettes, like punching people, I don't know. It's you've got the original cast there undermining the show. It's really terrible. It's like Kenobi every week.
Oh God!
Let's all thank the Admiral for sharing.
Wow.
You really opened up, Admiral. Thank you so much.
I gotta thank you for that. Yeah.
We need to go back to the spam content. We need to go back to the spam comment, please, because we got to have another. There's another Pops rule. Okay, we can't make a spam reference if we don't all just start going spam, 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 spam. Those of you who don't know the reference, see you next week.
That's right.
Spam, 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 and spam, and spam, spam, and spam.
And it's spam. Don't forget the bacon with the spam.
Spam with pickle, spam, and spam, 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 spam.
Only 36 hours to another episode of Picard drops. I can't wait. I can't wait. I've got my got a brand new legal pad ready to go for notes.
Guatemala and Brewster, you don't like spam? Jeez.
It's a robot and a ghost at the same time. It's hard to explain.
And Pops.
Yes, sir. At Pops. Just go to YouTube /@Pops. So yeah, I do Mando. So I fall on the sword and do Mando. So I'm doing that horrific show. So that's why I watch it, and so you don't have to show that I'm currently doing.
I heard last week showed hope. People were saying that episode 4, halfway through their season, was like decent.
So there's action sequences, and that's fine.
But
then they take we take the helmet off because, that is the new way. If the girl boss tells you it's the way, because that makes a lot of sense. And the pirate is so on the nose with the pirate. I kid you not. It has a pirate helm wheel that you turn.
Yes.
Pirates are that on the nose. There are so many stupid things that happen. It's hard to. So it's the same problem with Andor. I wish I could take it and edit it down. I could take Andor 9 episodes and make it like 6. It'll probably be okay then. And I think with Mando season 3, we can edit it and there's just stuff that happens all out of order, and we have exposition about exposition, and same old stuff.
But don't forget the beard, the plastic green grass beard stuff. Right?
Sigmund the sea monster grew up to be a pirate on Mandalorian. We all wanted to know what happened to Sigmund. We found it.
I lost interest in Andor because it was really so slow, but it was very competently done as compared to other stuff, and it wasn't self-contradicting. But I don't know. Is this possibility still alive? We use Andy Serkis and inject him full of midichlorians, and he turns into Snoke.
I actually was okay with Snoke being the byproduct of the experimental clone process that was hopefully going to be the part of Rise of Skywalker, but none of that actually happened. But that would have made a lot more sense than what we got. So, so wait. Tomorrow is comic book day. So we start off with doing a mandatory comic book talk. So tomorrow at 10:15 we start. Well, most of my videos usually are 10:15 during the week, 9 on the weekends. That is comic book talk tomorrow. Got a review after that. Gunslinger Spawn. Tomorrow we're going to talk about some comics, and then we do a throwback Thursday. Friday's probably when the Mando review will drop. And then with Saturday morning cartoons, before you do Heroes and No Capes, the aforementioned show, at 9 and 9:30, I do a retrospective look at rewatching Batman animated series and X-Men animated series. Saturday morning cartoons. We flow back to cartoons. Don't have a Sunday show. Sunday this Easter, so I don't have a Sunday show this week. But yeah.
It's strange to say those Saturday morning cartoons are of a much higher quality than some of the movies we get today, but you can
most of the movies.
Very truthfully and very unironically, even the music was better. It was weird.
Oh, have you not watched Batman animated series recently? It will knock your socks off at how high quality the show is. It's insane. I'm loving. This started by accident because it was like the 30th anniversary, and I'm like, I can rewatch that. And I was like, I should just do videos, and then it become like a thing. So that's like in our little inner circles, we're all like discussing all these cartoons and stuff like that. So I started doing videos, and that's how it all started. So I'd love to do more videos if I could.
Batman will always have a special place in everyone's heart. I mean, he's Batman.
I got to shout out Pop's Saturday morning cartoon thing. It's a whole thing. If you haven't experienced it firsthand, you really need to check it out. I can honestly prescribe it for the older fan as medication. There should be a regiment of going to Pops and hanging out Saturday mornings and watching the old cartoons and watching the old cartoon commercials as well in between.
Added commercials. Yes, we've added commercials now. So I've got new commercials usually every week, or at least I try to. So that's been a complete blast, by the way, is doing commercials, because that's
awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. And you can watch Pops like de-age, like almost 15 or 20 years while he's talking about it.
Definitely on the inside. Definitely on the inside. Watching a dose of X-Men and Batman. It's like, and it is the perfect thing to rewatch because you're never going to have them both be like subpar in the same week. Even if you get like a little bit of a lesser episode on one of them, the other one's always great. Yeah. It's fantastic. But the amount of feedback that I've gotten, like people want to talk about all of these cartoons and all these shows. So it's about time management. But yeah, if I had a staff, we would probably have a whole Saturday morning cartoon stream for like 3 hours, just like we did when we were young, where we would just talk about different shows and things like that.
Now, would you host this personally? Like,
I would love to host Saturday morning cartoons. I freaking love. Trust me, I'm just. Steven, you couldn't be right. It was birthed out of me needing happiness because I was watching and reviewing so much crap in a row. I ended up just down the rabbit hole where 2 or 3 of them in a row. I was like, oh my God, I can't go home like this. I can't end my week like this. I started watching Batman.
Let's get the Kickstarter going and file the papers for incorporation. I think it's a good idea.
It would be great. There are so many cartoons and commercials to pick from. It'd be great.
Even the Brave and Bold cartoons were better than today's garbage.
Yeah,
True.
it blew my mind after
great.
watching the Batman animated series and the feature films that they produced as well, and then Justice League and Teen Titans and all of the other spin-offs, all done by this animation house coming out of Warner Brothers. To have them actually produce Man of Steel and then Batman v Superman and then the Birth of Justice, I was like, what the hell? Are you guys like completely disjointed with the creativity in your own house? I mean, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah.
You obviously know the material. What the hell?
Let me go even more OG is again going back to the grandkids. The grandkids were visiting, and I found a YouTube channel that had like 4 hours of. They'd recorded on VHS, obviously, so it was 4 hours of these cartoons, and I started playing it with my granddaughter. So the first one was a Mighty Mouse. Then they got to watch Banana Splits and an intro to the old Three Musketeers cartoon. So this is the kind of stuff they watched. The next morning, they didn't ask to watch their show. They asked if they could watch Mighty Mouse.
Nice.
And I'm like,
wow.
So this last weekend, I introduced them to, quote, wacky races, which they had never heard of. And now they are addicted to wacky races. I sent them home to their parents wanting to watch wacky races. Good luck finding that. And then the granddaughter, she's 5. She wanted to watch. There's this cartoon called The Littles. I don't know if you remember The Littles. The boy, and he has these little elf-like looking guys. They're little tiny elves, things that live in the wall. Mm-hmm. And she thought that cartoon was the end all be all. So yeah, that's all. They asked for nothing Disney. I own almost all of the Disney library, and they didn't ask for any of that. They only wanted to watch old stuff. And they did ask to watch Muppet Treasure Island, which Disney owns, but technically that wasn't when it came out. So that was the only thing that broke that model. So yeah, they've not asked for Disney any time within the last 3 trips.
That was zero. But here's I perhaps you could help me with this. Is Catch That Pigeon a spin-off of Wacky Races or the other way around?
Catch the Pigeon. I don't know the date on that. That's an interesting one.
Which came first, the Catch the Pigeon or the Wacky Races? Because Dick Dastardly's in both.
And Lost Wanderer says, just watched Gargoyles cartoon again recently. Best use of Star Trek Next Generation actors ever.
Yeah. Michael Dorn is in it a lot. I remember that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the Dastardly and Muttley Flying Machines is a spinoff from Wacky Races.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I remember there were spinoffs of it.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody that's in the chat. Snaggler Fricklepuss that came by. The Lost Wanderer also here. Disney Sheepherder, I know he had to duck out and he was hoping to return, but thank you for coming. And Janet from Another Planet was here. Mm-hmm. And Crimson
Jerry from
Toys.
Queens.
That's right. And the lovely Sherry and John Rendell and Rancor Steve was even here too.
Mm-hmm. I missed that.
And he was here as well. And John Rendell and Penny, she was also here.
Yes, indeed.
And let me see, just going through the chat again. And I think that's pretty much almost and of course Guatemalan Rooster. Can't forget our favorite rooster. So because he's our cock of the walk.
I'm going to order my rooster Guatemalan style next time I go to the restaurant.
There you go. And of course, Phantom Outsider, who's here as well. So
Lost Wanderer.
Yeah. Yankee Doodle Pigeon. Yeah.
Yes. Was that the name of the show? I mean, these are all real characters.
Yep.
The show made very little sense.
Dick Dashley and Muttley.
They just sort of were like the A-Team. They constructed super planes that they attempted to stop a simple bird with, and they just couldn't pull it off.
I can't share my screen because you guys will snipe me. I just found it on eBay.
Oh, there we go.
So I don't have the new I don't have that box set.
Nice.
I have most of them, but I don't have that one.
Interspersed with 200 years ago in America and the bicentennial moment. Remember that stuff? Or am I the oldest person here?
Oh, you're at bicentennial moment. I'm down with that. Yeah, I'm very good.
Oh, yes. And of course, you too, Crimson Toys. If I forgot you, I apologize. So, but guys, I want to thank everybody that came on and just having a chat on a titillating Tuesday and entering the Geekosphere. It's always great to have you guys and just chat along and just make another fun episode here. So, yeah.
I was glad I made it. There was another link out there. I was sitting there like, what? Like the countdown time came and went, and I hit refresh, and it was like all weird. I don't know. I managed to find all the bad parts of the internet. But I saw Raffy there, and we bought some space meth. We shot it.
There we go.
Shot it into our eyes. We shot it right into our fucking eyes.
So, from everybody on the panel to everybody in the chat, thank you for dropping by. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, spread the word, and really helps me out with the whole algorithm. And I can't believe I'm almost close to like 700 subscribers. It's like really surreal.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, God, it hasn't even been 2 years yet.
One video at a time, baby. One video at a time.
Yep.
Exactly, right?
My next video is 100. It's 100 videos next one I do. So I'm wondering
Congratulations.
what I'm gonna do. Thank you.
People don't do it, man. It's like I was just doing some stats. I was listening to a show and they were talking about stats, and it's like, only like 80% of people get past the first 3, and then only like you're in the top 95th percentile when you get to like 6 months of doing something consistently. Like it's like the content creation thing it's like it wears you out. Like people want immediate gratification, and that's not how the algorithm is built. The algorithm is not built for you to have success anytime soon.
That's right. No, you got to work at it.
Well, it also feeds the worst of our behavior. It wants you to the cheat code would be go find someone else's content and react to it, or go find the trendy thing and talk about it. Basically be fake.
Yeah, that's cheaply unlocking God mode on YouTube, and that comes with a price. That's like almost as if you were put into a robot body of yourself and slowly losing your humanity. A Star Trek.
We don't do that for free, do we, Admiral Teague? We don't do that for free.
No, and that's why I'm gonna put my Kofi in the link, right? Oh, please, God, let me work until like midnight tomorrow so that I have an excuse not to watch Picard live, because people know how insane I am after the last watch through. I was just outraged. A broken man yelling into a microphone.
Why, God? Why?
The good Lord reacts. No, sorry, Admiral Teague. You must suffer the rest of Picard. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And I keep pausing it and reading for Picard. It's like, Jack,
because you've angered the karma gods. This is your punishment.
I just like, if you remember Viagra 4. He is such. It's like, how long ago did you have this child? I can't picture this man having any virility in the last 3 decades.
I've only watched about 36 seconds of any of the Picard series, and it's the episode where the car hits him. So there's a car, like a little Prius, and the Prius hits him.
When he goes into the past. Yeah.
That's the best. When the Prius hits him, I had to watch that on repeat. And that was what I watched.
God.
I know, I'm not sadistic.
Memories. So everybody in the chat, please subscribe to all of these fine gentlemen. They definitely deserve it. And
thank you.
Thank you all for coming. And we will see you next week on another Titillating Tuesday. So good night, all, and have a great week. And check out these fine gentlemen. And we will see you soon.
Don't trust any bald robots.
Night, everyone.
Night, everybody.